Start again. Hello and welcome to Spurs Kings TV. It's your host Marlon with Ashmatic. It is Tuesday. Yes, we're late. We're typically late, but we're here. Ash, you will?
Yeah, man. I was enjoying my time off. What am I doing here? I don't know what's going on, man. I'm meant to be having a break from all this type of stuff. But yeah, we're here, man. We're here, and I'm good, bro. Good to see you, man. As always.
Of course. Good to see you as well. Do you know what? It feels like a long time since I last spoke to you, saw you. It's that Tuesday manner, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into it. You know what? Quickly, I was gonna change the show today. I was gonna, after seeing what Saeed did, I was gonna do it
I
Spurs
thought,
only, man.
yeah, I thought you were gonna do it. You're
Oh,
not doing
mate,
it.
we might have to. We might have to.
Oh,
We'll let the audience decide if they want to see us do it. And like George wants to do it. George wants to do it bad, but we'll have to do it at some point this weekend. Look, there's no Spurs game. Let's get a tier list of all the Spurs channels and put them in, mate. And then the other channels can come on and defend themselves. If so, they'll know we're doing it. We'll put it out on you. If you want to come and defend yourself, here's the link. You come on and defend yourself where you want to put on the list. But Jordan's like, yeah, we're underrated. Nah, do you know it was quite interesting, but we'll have to got to do a Spurs one. Even if it's as a joke, got to do a Spurs one. But speaking of Spurs, you thought a week off, international week, Solanke in the England squad, you thought there'd be nothing to talk about, because Harry Kane's going to take all the plaudits. But Spurs do Spurs and give us something to talk about, even if they do have 2 weeks off.
yeah.
And look, should we just get into it? Should we bring the guest out?
Bring him out, man. Bring him
Let's
out.
bring
Bring him out.
the guest. It's the first one making his debut on the channel, I believe. And he will tell me if I am wrong, but I believe he is. But let's get a good welcome from Park Lane Podcast. You've also seen him on Harry's Scarf as well. I think he does a midweek show for Harry as well. But a big welcome to Callum. Are you well?
Yeah, no, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Obviously, my debut. So now it's great to be here and love all the content that you guys do. So thanks for having me.
And then the next person we've had on before. It's been a while. It's been too long, as they say. It's been way too long. But definitely glad he is back. But AB, you well?
Yes, I'm very well. Thank you, brothers. Really appreciate you having me back on. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Big up. AB, I can't even see you. I can just see
Can see half your face, man. Yeah, there we go.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah.
I need to get something.
It's like one of them prison mug shots,
Yeah.
weren't it? You can only see part of his face.
Ross, Rick Ross or I don't know what's going on.
Sorry, just a sec.
Why AB sorts himself out? Let's get into things. Do you know what? Loving the Jamaican flag behind as well. I might go get my Jamaican shirt on because I'm in this international week. But no, big up to everyone. Ash. Let's get straight into things. Let's talk about what the big news has been this week.
What's the big news? I don't even know what it is. What is it?
Well, some man decided that he's been our best player for the last month. And thought he'd turn up and put, he thought he was Danny at one point. I thought, wearing his sunglasses inside. But at least with Danny, we know why he was. Djed got the same reason.
So mad.
But Djed, let's talk about Djed.
Let's talk
about Djed. Because he had the interview this week. Obviously, probably over the weekend with Rio and, is it Joel? It's Joel, isn't it? Yeah, so obviously I had the interview this week, and a lot of people are reading in between the lines of certain things that he has said. Was it a great time to be doing an interview halfway during the season?
I think it's more than halfway through. After we've only got 10 games left, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So, if he's gonna do something or say something like the games are done now, the season's pretty much done, and I think the players know that. I think that's why he's coming out because look, everyone's saying, Europa League, that's the only way the manager can salvage his job, innit? Obviously, some people are saying, the last 10 games, maybe he could have an upturn. But a lot of fans, hey, they signed out. I'll be real. So I'm saying, boom. You see, Djed, let's come on. He's done his thing, and yeah, he's just doing him. And you know what I like about? You know what I like what he said first. I don't know if we're gonna get into this, but the one thing I liked about what he said is like, you know, a lot of people they're afraid to be themselves, and I'm just me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And he's doing it laid back, chilled, his way, his vibes. Some people it might scratch them the wrong way, and they don't understand him. Like, why is he wearing sunglasses though? I don't understand. Why is he? Why is he so
Well,
calm for?
so only one person tweeted about the sunglasses, but he was in court today, so he might have missed the rest of the interview. So,
Oh, listen, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder. Listen, he's just minding his own. That's what I gotta say. But look, let the kid land, let the kid do his thing, and yeah, man, like, more power, man, more power. I think more players should come out and do. People say it's unprofessional. Oh, they shouldn't come out. It's like because you know he's a bit drippy as well. He comes sometimes. He's got the little Louis bag and that. He's got the scarf. He's kind of like doing his thing. But some people don't like. No, he should be professional. Don't wear all of that drip. Come in a shirt and trousers. Like, bro, it's not the 90s no more. You know, times have changed. You understand? Young G's they're doing their thing, man, and I respect it, man. I just look,
could have worn a Spurs
to
tracksuit.
himself. Let him do him, you know. And he's got the I am like Rio was saying the I am him vibes. So I'm saying, yeah, I'm all for it, man. We're Team Djed. I'm gonna say I'm gonna include everyone in this. We're Team Djed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I am.
Yeah.
Go on, you don't say your piece, man. Before
Yeah, Callum, let me bring you in. What did you make of the interview? Him doing an interview, why the season is still going on, or what did you make of it?
Well,
Before we
usually,
get into the nuts and bolts, just what did you make of it generally? An interview about Djed, who's only really been in the team since probably January, really, where he's really got a starting place. Before that, he was in and out.
yeah, I mean, most of these interviews are usually signed off by the club anyway, if they're as big as this one, sort of thing, especially with
Yeah.
someone like Rio with all his work with BT and Sky. So, I mean, I would say that there's probably been a lot of looking into it from the club. But, I mean, he said stuff that needed to be said. Well, he said stuff that needed to be said. And from a content creator point of view, from all of us, I mean, we're probably happy that he said it because it gives us something to have a chat about on a Tuesday night that way. But no, I mean, I think Ed has grown up a lot in the last couple of years, and this interview has kind of compounded that a little bit because he was that kid that Neil Warnock took the mickey out of and said either you're going to go to the top or you'd end up on the bottom completely. So I, I liked his honesty in this. I mean, there's definitely some stuff where I thought it's a little bit concerning for Spurs, but in terms of what he said, it's a very honest account for it. So no, if it's there's a lot of content in there which I thought was very useful. I mean, I don't probably go with the sunglasses look. I mean, maybe he's just had eye surgery today or something like that to get rid of having contacts. You never know. He's probably out for the weekend now, knowing our luck. Yeah, just a nice another injury to add to the list. But he seems pretty down to earth. He's what 24, 25 now. So yeah, good luck to him. And uh, to be honest, Rio's got enough going on his plate. I don't think he's going to be too miffed off about sunglasses. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't even care, did he?
Nah, but
Hey.
it was at least interesting what Djed did bring up, and I know we'll cover that sort of thing. But it was a good interview, I thought, and I actually enjoyed it. I liked these, like what they did with Delhi when he was going through all of his dark times as well. It's really eye-opening when you do hear the players speak because they are human at the end of the day and they are entitled to their opinions. Like we're probably our opinions tonight, people might think are a load of rubbish and all that. I mean, we probably all don't agree everything that we think, but no, good luck to him. And maybe the timing weren't great, but like everyone said, there's sweet FA left of the season. We ain't going to go much further in the table, maybe jump one place, and it's only Europa League to play for now, ain't it?
AB, I come to you. What did you make of the timing of the interview? Would you have preferred it to come out at the end, or were you like, no, I'm good with this? It was good
No,
to.
No, no, no. I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think he spoke his truth, and I think it's been a long time coming. I've been a massive fan of Djed since we've signed him, and I'll be honest with you. I think under Conte, he was massively silenced, not only in terms of game time because he didn't play, but he probably felt like he didn't have a voice there either. So now that he's sort of, in form, playing well, he's kind of come onto this platform and spoken his truth. I don't think he's done anything wrong. The lads know the season's pretty much done for unless we win the Europa. So he's just coming out and just being honest. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Don't think the timing's bad either. And actually, as well, if we think about it, Romero came out with some comments as well a while back. So it's like, if Romero can speak, he can speak.
Hey, shall I play a little piece then, bro? Like it's
Go on, Ash. Do
a
your bits.
few seconds and then I'll stop it in it. But yeah, let's get into it, man. So you've got the full volume there.
In terms of fullback, I feel like I've got something that a lot of fullbacks don't have, and I feel like I play different to a lot of them.
So yeah, man, I stopped it there. Let me play a little bit more. Go on.
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm different. Yeah. So
in what way though?
So yeah, he's. I like the fact that he's fully backing himself on this fullback thing. Me personally, I like how he's straight to the point, and you can just see that his confidence is just there. But
just my overall game, I think I can attack, and I can defend, and
that for me. What do you like think about that? I can attack and defend in terms of like fullbacks. Like what we saying? Where are we rating Djed? Because obviously he missed out on the England place, and doing Skelly got it. And like, is there many fullbacks that can defend and attack? And should he be playing left back or should he be playing right back for Spurs? That's what I want to know from you guys. Anyone can jump in, man.
I would like to start. I think he deserves the opportunity to be where he is now. So playing regularly in the Spurs squad. Like I said, he's been with us for a while. When we bought him from Nottingham Forest, he was a very promising player. And like I said, I just don't think things worked for him under Conte. So now that he's sort of in the team, in form, I think he's doing well. I personally prefer him at right back. I think him at left back is good, but I think him playing on his more natural side, he looks a bit more better going forward. Not to say he doesn't look good going forward on the left, but I think he would probably look a bit better going forward. I think defensively as well, why I would play him on the right is because we've all seen how Pedro Porro is defensively, and I just think for me personally, it'd be better on the right.
It's interesting because I know what I think I know what Marlon thinks, but I want to hear Callum's thoughts as well. Callum, what do you think about that? Where do you think his best position is?
I mean, I'm quite a traditional line of thought. I don't like fullbacks playing on both sides. I kind of like them if they're a right back, they play right back. If they're a left back, they play left back. And I'm guessing that's why Skelly probably got in front of him for the England squad, because Skelly's a natural left back by trade. But Djed, being versatile, is a very good option for us. I mean, he's probably shown better performances than Porro this year. So, I mean, and there was games where Spence at left back, I mean, I think against Liverpool in the first Carabao Cup, I think quarter-final or, quarter-final match when he was at the Lane, he played really well. So, no, I think that was, oh, God. I think Djed is a very good player, and I think he, like AB said, he's been so underutilized. Maybe it was a little bit too early because Skelly has been playing a lot more than him for most of the season compared to Djed. Like Marlon said earlier, he's only really come in January, maybe mid-December, sort of that Southampton game when he got in there. So no, he's going the right direction. It's just there's so many fullbacks in his position at right back for England at the moment. You've got James, you've got Arnold, you've got a number of other players that are going to be there. So is it left back that he gets called into? Because, I mean, let's put it this way. Chilwell can't stay fit. Luke Shaw's got no legs. And Sessegnon is, well, we ruined Sessegnon. So who's the next option to come up from there for it?
Marlon, what's your thoughts on this topic, man? Djed.
So for Tottenham right now, manager-wise, he's a better left back than he's a right back. And the reason behind that is because where he's inverting into. So when he inverts, He's then because when they're inverting, they end up on their weaker foot. This is where I think Destiny and Poro have kind of been weak because they're very one-footed, and when they go into invert, they're on their wrong side straight away. This is where I think Djed Spence has flourished, and that's why when people have looked at his better performances for Tottenham this season have been at left back. And I take the Ipswich game as a prime example. Ipswich away, where he was right back for the majority of it, and then as soon as he went left back, he literally his game went up, and that was because he was on his opposite side, he was on his stronger foot, and it meant he could be in certain positions and play the ball. So under Ange, he has to play left back. He cannot play right back. Poro is the better one when it comes to that inverted role, unfortunately for that. But when he talks about defending, he's probably is one of the best. He probably is the best fullback at Spurs who can defend. No, he doggies hit and miss. Poro cannot defend at all unless he has Romero behind him. And Spence has shown, but I don't think if it came down to it, and I think this is where the problem that Spence is going to have, and it's the same problem he's going to have with England, is you look at James, you look at Trent, and you look at Poro. They all have something that Trent doesn't have, and they are all able to whip in a ball from across. And when you have someone like Solanke or Harry Kane, Poro is able to put it on. Well, not all the time, but he's able to put it on Solanke's head. With Trent and you saw with James the other night, they're good at set pieces, but they're able to just whip that ball in very quickly, and it puts the team on the back foot. So Spence will have to make a decision soon if he wants to play for England. And I'll be honest about it, he's more likely to get in at left back than he is at right back.
I hear it still, and I kind of agree. I think when we were playing against Fulham, they realised they weren't getting the best out of Spence.
Yeah.
And also in build-up, the doggie's not really good when he inverts.
Yeah.
So when we're playing out from the back, that's when Maddison normally drops into that left-back role, and then the doggie plays in the 8. So that he's able to get on the half turns because the doggie struggles in possession in the defensive third when we're playing out from the back with the goalkeeper doing short passes. So then you go look at what they had to swap the doggie on the right, and they put Spence back on the left like it was mad. And it was like just before half time, I was fussing up. I was like, yeah, they've got a real issue here. They've got a real problem. But it depends, like what you just said is spot on. In terms of like what manager we get, that will depend on what or how I think Djed Spence developed in his career, because I still think he's still got another level to go up. And he actually talks a little bit about it, but I'm going to play a bit more of the video, innit?
Before you start, and that why it's very key and important, because if we went to 3 at the back, Djed, where does Djed fit into that? Because I don't see him as a fullback. And I know a lot of people go, yeah, but he runs up and down, he can defend. But I don't see him as a fullback, because where a fullback is, I look at Poro, I see Poro as a fullback right back, and I see Spence is better when he is a right back, because you see what he used to do for Forest when he runs into the box. And I think Callum made a great point. Let's go back to Southampton, where he literally ran, turned inside the box, and in the first minute he sets up James Maddison. That's what he's good at. Where I don't think if he goes to play fullback, I don't think he's able to play that, because he'll be the only person on that right. And I think sometimes he's kind of the person that needs that backup. That might be just me. I might be just reading that all wrong.
I think I make you right on that, Marlon, because literally he played as a wing back for Forest in their promotion season. So he was switching between being the back three and then either as a wing back or even as a right winger he played in under that season. So, I mean, he definitely can do it, and he definitely has attacking intent. It's just whether if he does play that full wing-back role compared to being a full-back, would he be able to defend, or would we have to rely on having better players in centre-back, realistically, who can do it? And I mean, the amount of times that if you do let if you do let Spence go that far, I mean, Romero gets turned inside out so many times this season when he has played, it doesn't really inspire confidence, does it?
Yeah, true. I hear it, man. All right, let's play the next.
Fullbacks is either one or the other. They're really good at attacking, can't defend, or can't defend, really good at attacking. So, yeah, I feel like I possess both of them skills. So, yeah.
And you're playing more regular now. How important
Let me forward it a little piece though.
So I think now that I'm playing week in, week out,
Where's your
I'm starting to feel more
timestamps?
settled. I'm starting to feel like, yeah, like I'm here.
Nah, this is freestyle, guys. I apologize, isn't it? I'm just literally gonna forward it.
So I'm going well off the pitch.
Like what?
So I was in a hotel for like 2 months or 3 months, whatever it was. Like, it was horrible. The food wasn't really I couldn't really like the food there.
So this bit, yeah, he's talking about his time abroad, isn't it? Because he had about 3 or 4 like loan stints, and he's talking about his living
And
condition.
then once I did get my place, it wasn't a proper place. Like when I was speaking to the club, they were saying that there's no houses available, there's no apartments available. So like,
So it just shows them how important basically your living conditions are, how you perform on the pitch, right? What you do outside is going to impact what you do on the pitch, basically. And he was just basically away from his family, saying it was hard. But
chance really. Spoke to the manager.
So that's when he was in France, right? When he's talking about
when he was in France, but
because
when
when he was at Rennes.
in Genoa.
Yeah, Genoa
was because they wanted him. They wanted him badly. So it was quite interesting.
Sometimes you might not get a chance that you feel like you deserve, Like I said, new manager coming in, you would think, all right, he's gonna have a look at everyone and
Get a fair crack at the whip.
you know what I mean? But
so yeah, this is the bit where he talks about the new manager coming in, and it's to talk about Conte and Ange, innit? But let's listen to it, man.
sometimes that just doesn't happen, and for me that didn't happen. For a reason I don't know why, but yeah, I mean it's part of the game, so you just got to get on with it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So can I just ask a question? I'm going to ask a question on the back of this. Does this interview, especially this part here, does it put Ange in a good light?
I mean,
go on.
Yeah, when Ange first came in, obviously he gave everyone a clean slate, didn't he? Apparently, according to the journos. But then he kind of went through it, and there was Ndombele, there was Lo Celso, there was Solomon coming in, there was Destiny, there was Spence. All of them were quite new or trying that new bounce. And I'm guessing that probably Ange looked at it and thought, well, he looks like he's been troublesome in the past, so put him out on loan for another season to grow up, and that's where he kicked him to Leeds, weren't it? And then he went to Genoa after that. It's a difficult one, and because it was, I don't know. All managers come in and have their bounce, or they have their sort of, I don't know. Would it be sort of their own ideas of how to do it? And if he didn't fancy Djed, you can't blame it entirely on Ange. It's got to be player and a manager decision, hasn't it, as well, to sort of win the respect of the manager. It's what they're paid to do. They're paid to play, and Conte, like people have said, did Spence dirty, and then probably made him put his head down a little bit, didn't they, in the sort of year and a half from when it all happened to then get to that point.
Go on, AB. I know you're dying to respond. Go on.
I am. Just off the back of something that Callum said. So when we're thinking of his time under Conte, obviously he didn't get much time to play. Do we now think, based off of what we're hearing him say here, he doesn't feel as though he's got any loyalty to Ange because essentially he's been picked for injury? So it's not like Ange has picked him and said, you know what, I think you're the player that can, help our season. He's been picked almost by default. So maybe he's coming out and saying this because he's like, you know what, the manager hasn't backed me, but I've shown what I'm capable of. Because that's how I'm sort of reading it. I mean, I could be wrong, but I've always kind of looked at Djed and said, you know what, he could be a very outspoken player in which sometimes managers don't like that. So he could have done that under Conte as to why maybe he didn't play. But I think now we're starting to sort of see him say all this stuff, maybe just out of the fact that he doesn't really have, and I need to say this carefully, maybe he doesn't have as much loyalty towards Ange because of how he's been brought into the team. Like I said, we've had a string of injuries and he's kind of been forced to say, you know what, Djed's there, so I'm going to have to play him.
Yeah, you know what? Go on. This one. Go on. Go on, Callum.
Just quickly, I mean, Ange did back him last summer, didn't he? A little bit. He did say that Djed has stepped up. He's sort of shown what he can do. He's been at least a little bit impressed with him. I guess when you've got a successful pairing of Porro and Destiny, where do you go with that? Because we was all wax lyrical about them last year, weren't we, as one of the best fullback pairings in the league. So, I mean,
Callum,
if you do have that. Yeah.
That question for you, though. You said, he did wax lyrical about him in August. He did say, yep, he'd done well. But then he didn't show anything after that, apart from at Coventry, and even against Coventry, where he probably should have started. If we're looking at it, he changed all them players in the team. And yes, it didn't work. But looking at the Djed Spence situation, if you think that this player and you're saying this, that, and the other, and then you've not used them in the Europa League squad. Porro has played every game, but up until that point, would that not have been the perfect time to rest him, to rest Porro, and not put Archie Gray there?
No, that's very fair. I mean, definitely there's. To be honest, I don't know. It's such a difficult one because he did praise him, but yeah, you're right. He did leave him out the squad, but that's another one of them because our homegrown contingent is so piss poor as a club and all that, and our homegrown quota as a club homegrown
Yeah.
trained is crap. I mean, if we're anything,
to be honest, Caleb, leaving out the squad. I know a lot of people didn't agree with it at the time, but I got it. I wasn't mad at it at the time because Spence wasn't anywhere near the team. However, what I got then mad about was that when Porro and these league games were coming up and Porro's playing Europe and you're playing Archie Gray, who's not a very good fullback. He's not. He's nowhere near near what he was getting the chances and he wasn't performing. And yet we saw what Spence did in the summer. You spoke highly of Spence. You told me that Archie Gray was a defensive midfielder. Why don't you let Archie Gray go back to where he's supposed to be and use the right back that's at the club that you praised in the summer? So and for me, it was like Ange is not keeping to his word. And this statement here, and I think this is where I do make AB right, is you're looking at it going, does he have any loyalty to Ange? Yes, Ange gave him his chance, but by default, it's like Brandon Austin. He only got his chance because we had a goalkeeper injury crisis, and they went and signed a goalkeeper anyway. So what do you do in that? So what do you do in that situation? Like, people
don't play for Spurs. Don't play for Spurs. That'd solve it all. Should we just go support another freaking team, shouldn't we? Just somewhere where everyone's happy and all that. Then we'd be all out of a podcasting job. But I mean, no, you're completely right, and it's like, I mean, Lo Celso said it last year, didn't he, as well, I guess, with Ange, saying that Ange begged him to stay, everything like that. And then we had the injury crisis. Maddison went down, and then Kulusevski got injured and all these. And then it recurred itself again. Lo Celso went on a good run, got a couple of goals, and then dropped down as well. So, I mean, I guess the way that Ange is, he doesn't really have loyalty to players, I don't think, does he, within reason, the way that he's shown it. I mean, he's got his first team starters that he wants, but realistically, I mean, we all have our own opinions of Ange, but yeah, the Djed situation, I would have liked to see it earlier. I mean, to be fair, we could make the same argument about Reguilon, though, couldn't we? That Udogie got injured and we started playing Ben Davis there.
Even Archie Gray went back there as well, or went to left back at one point.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I mean, I hate this whole...
Yeah, the Reguilon thing, yeah. No, I do agree with you on the Reguilon thing. And but I wasn't... What I was more mad about with the whole Djed Spence thing at the time is that he's the Coventry game. Djed, for 45 minutes, turned that game on his head.
Yeah.
And he scored, and he brought us back into it. And then we ended up... Brennan Johnson obviously was going through his moment at that time as well. But then I think he got injured for a couple of games, but then just didn't see a minute after that. And you're like, well, we just saved your job. Because if we'd have gone out to Coventry, I think he was gone. I think that is where everybody's head was at the time. Because it was win-loss, win-loss. The performances wasn't great. But we looked at that Coventry game and we were literally getting outdone by a championship side that was struggling. Not Frank Lampard's Coventry. This is Mark Robbins. It's Coventry at the time.
I honestly don't know where... Well, to be honest, this season's been such a joke that I don't think any of us expected it, based on what we had, how we'd been last season, how we got these apparent great players, and then these players have come back in. And I mean, my main bugbear with Ange, at least, is the style that we use our fullbacks, to be honest. I hate inverted fullbacks. I think it's the biggest load of cobblers in the world. and it just restricts them. So, I mean, maybe that's why he started using Archie in that position potentially, because he is a defensive midfielder. He can offer something in that midfield portion, and it's like you guys said earlier as well, where Maddison drops in there as well.
Though. That's the only problem though, because their backs again, they're not with with the two fullbacks. They're actually playing with their backs to goal because of where they're situated.
Yeah,
and I personally, I think inverted fullbacks can work, but I think where Ange lets himself down, he wants to play with two number 8s or number 6s, whatever you want. No, two number 8s, sorry.
Two number 8s.
Two centre midfielders. And I don't think when you're inverting, especially against stronger sides, you need that protection.
You have to have a 6.
You have to have a DM or a 6 to protect. And that's my opinion. Look, whether I'm right or wrong, it's not even a case of that. But I look at it, and for how many times we allow players to run through. Before I take the Nottingham Forest image, everyone remembers the goal against Nottingham Forest they scored against us. It was cool because we were inverting and we had no one to actually then cover the midfield, and they just ended up playing it right through us. And you're like, how many times have we seen that this season? The Leicester first goal was caused by exactly the same problem. Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago, again, the same problem. And it seems to be the same because we haven't got that covering midfielder, because they are where they are. And I just think for Ange, and his coaches, have they looked at this and gone, this is what we need, and is one fighting against the other going, I've never played this way before, or the club not getting him the DM that we need?
I think it's a bit of both. Personally, I think it's a mixture of because they're missing a big trick there. Really, I thought going into the season, I was going to bring this up later on, but let's talk about it now. Innit? I thought the whole point of the fullbacks inverting was to add protection to the number 6. So you're meant to have like a 2-3. So you've got your 2 centre backs, you've got your number 6, and then if your fullbacks are inverting, it would make more sense for the fullback to invert as a double pivot, if that makes sense, or even a triple pivot, where you've got 3 6s essentially. You've got 3 DMs, and then that allows the other 5 players to be more aggressive. But like you said, Marlon, I don't think the profile of a doggy can do that, where he can sit in, and you've got a doggy playing higher up, or whoever playing the left back higher up, and then that leaves that 6 exposed, and then you've got the right back. If he's not higher up, if he's not central as an 8, he's playing right wing or right wing back, higher up the pitch. So then, you've got an issue there, where if you lose the ball, you're vulnerable, and the number 6 has to cover a lot of ground. And positionally, they need to be like astute. And now, how the coaches haven't picked up on that is crazy to me.
Sorry, Ash, I got to jump in because I've been chomping at the bit to talk about this, because it's something that we talk about quite a bit in our group. I think Ange is aware of this. I think the coaching staff is aware of this. I think his biggest problem this season has been his stubbornness, his unwillingness to change it because he wants to win his way. And I think that the more we look at his style and the way we set up in his formation, it's really quite an unrealistic way to play, especially in long seasons when you've got Europa games, FA Cups, Carabao's leagues. You can't play that style of football every single week. And if you are, your squad rotation has to be a lot better than what we've seen. It's been quite poor from him. He's played a lot of the same players repeatedly, game after game after game. And this is where we go back just slightly to us talking about Djed and why he hasn't been involved. Because you should be playing him, because we're going to need that rotation, especially on that. Well, I can't say especially on that right hand side because he's played left, but either side, and that's just how I feel the downfall of the season has sort of been. He hasn't managed the team well.
Yeah, I was going to play the next bit. Let's see what happens, isn't it? Freestyle.
Like, the manager's very heavy on how he wants us to play, so has a specific way of playing. And
bring it back.
One of your main attributes is taking on players. I think you're in the top 3% of Premier League defenders when it comes to successfully taking on opponents. How important in today's game especially is that attacking side of your game?
Oh wait, hold on, that's not what I want to get at. Sorry, my bad.
Postacoglu's putting into you. Most of that is on on video, or are you doing that in training?
No, we train on these things every day. Like, the manager's very heavy on how he wants us to play, so has a specific way of playing, and that's what we try to do.
All right, so basically he's talking about this particular style and system that he has to play under Postacoglu. And there's a bit where Rio speaks on, is it the players that make the decisions, or is it the system? Does Ange want them to play like the same way no matter what?
Talking about that specific way of playing, he's very like, right, this is me, this is how we play. He's adamant that's what we're going to do, and he doesn't really deviate from that. Got a style of football.
Yeah, so there he is. He's starting to break it down a little bit. So listen closely, yeah?
Well, this is us.
Yeah.
What's that like for a player to play in that?
Yeah, I mean, he's a manager, so I guess we got to follow suit, and you got to buy.
Yeah, so he's basically saying that, yeah, the gaffer gives out the instructions, and you basically just follow what he's saying more or less.
Into it as well, but I think yeah, the players enjoy it. To be fair, and it's a fun way of playing. To be fair, it's attacking. Yeah, it's attacking. So,
but I think that's why a lot of the players before were coming out and saying they were backing Ange, saying they're enjoying the way he's playing, they're enjoying the training, because they're on the front foot. Basically, they're attacking, and that's what you play football. You play football to kind of attack. You don't play football to sit back necessarily. So I think this is why I was an advocate for the style of play.
Me as a fullback, I get to
go on.
Do you think that the fullbacks, I was wanting to bring up this Tottenham Ranger, and he goes, do you think the fullbacks like the way that they are playing? Do you think they enjoy it?
Well, by the sounds of Spence, it sounds like he is.
This is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Porro and Udogie must enjoy it too. Looking at the whole way, and even when anyone comes into that role, it's probably the best way for a fullback wants to play, because they're not actually really defending, are they?
Yeah. But 100%, and you know what? Just off the back of that, I would agree as well. I think they're loving it. What the question is Romero enjoying it? Is Van der Ven enjoying it? Probably not, because they're having to do probably 10, 15 extra sprints a game that they wouldn't have to do if certain games he plays it a bit more conservative or traditional, or even God forbid we play Archie Gray as a 6 and see what he can do there. So I think like I said, I think it's just an unrealistic way to play, and it's kind of proven in the results this season. Honestly, that's just what I think.
I think maybe because he's an attacking style of a fullback, that's why he enjoys it as well. Like I think Porro is as well, and Udogie, they're all kind of front-footed players where they enjoy attacking. They played, obviously, Udogie and Porro have played a wing-back, so attacking is their main fault. And obviously, defending is a part of their job, but you call it a wing back for a reason. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's my take on it. Callum, you got any thoughts on that one?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely they like it because it gives them the freedom and flexibility to just keep going forward and going at their man sort of thing. That's what an attacking fullback wants. I mean, modern players should be able to do both. I don't think Udogie's as good as, like you guys say, he is at defending as he probably is attacking, but if anything, he's weak. I mean, if Ange wants his fullbacks to play like that, then that's great. But it's like AB said, you need to. It's not just one way of playing that we should be doing it, and the way that Spence says that he's all free to go and do this, I think that there's a lot of management ideas that I think are actually lacking in it. Because if you are going to expose your fullback, or if your fullbacks are going to go that far forward, you expose your centre backs, you expose your 6, you probably expose one of your 8s as well in there, and it leaves so much space. And it's like you guys have said, it leaves us receptive and exposed to silly goals, and it's just not the way that I've been brought up watching fullbacks. I mean, even Trent and Robertson, when they was under Klopp in their heyday, they could still go up but then defend as well. That's why they've had so many great defensive records. We had Danny Rose and Walker, didn't we? And Trippier under Pochettino with Alderweireld and Vertonghen, and they were still playing as fullbacks and wing-backs, but they were still defending well, and we had the best defensive record in the league that year in the last time. So it is achievable. I just think Ange's style is so gung-ho that it's the idea you outscore your opponents. It's not about how many goals you concede. It's just you've got to score 1 or 2 more than them. It's such a one way of thinking or no way around it. I think that's the best way of putting it. And I think Djed's doing very well to keep his mouth within the lines of knowing that if he don't say something right, he probably won't play this weekend.
To go forward. a lot. I get to be inside the middle of the park, where all the commotion is. So yeah, I enjoy it. To be fair, I think it's good.
Fitness wise, you must be working hard because.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me forward it a little bit more. He does talk about there's one bit and he talks about, and I was trying to get to it. Let me see if I can find it here.
We literally do the same session every day, and literally every day, not even a change. So I feel like with Ange, it's a bit different. Like we change. We do like certain.
Talk about enjoying the sessions, but I think it's this bit here. Rio talks about like just the game management side of things. Let me see if it's this bit here.
Driving force of everything. Individuals can't make decisions now. It's all about what the manager wants.
Yeah. I think we definitely have a system, but I feel like we've got players that can kind of.
So yeah, that's basically what he said. He's like, do players think for themselves, or is it a case you just listen to your manager?
Come out of the system, but kind of like have that bit of freedom, like we've got quality players like Madders, or he plays the system, but obviously he's got his own quality to produce a bit of magic and stuff. So
he talks about Maddison, which I thought was interesting because it's quite split at the moment. This fan base between Maddison, giving him props. Is he that guy, or is he that guy that's not good enough? Do you know what I mean? But he's here, talking about Maddison's individual quality and just being unique and doing his own thing.
I feel like it's not he doesn't say, oh, you can't do this X, Y, Z. Because obviously play our way, but obviously if you do a bit of magic, you do a bit of magic, I guess. Yeah. So yeah.
What about in-game?
Here it is. This is the bit here. Talk about in-game
management, right? And there's a circumstance where I don't know, it's just not going well. You're feeling the pressure. Yeah. Do you or any other person in the team, have the right to be like, look, right about now?
Yeah. So this is the bit, boys.
We're under the cosh.
Yeah.
So for 5 minutes, instead of doing X, we're going to do X. And you talk amongst yourself as players. Are you allowed to do that a little bit, or is it?
Nah, man, it's just that.
So he says, nah, man, it's just that. What is that?
That's the method, man. That's the way.
Yeah.
And to be fair to the manager, I mean, we will never get in trouble for playing his way. Even if we're under pressure or we're not having a great game. If we play his way, then it's like he takes it on himself to be like, that's the way.
So what do you not think about that then?
It's exactly what I've been saying, and you can see it. And actually, this is why I was quite happy that Djed came out and did this interview and was open and honest. I don't think he's throwing Ange under the bus. I think he's just saying exactly what everyone can see, which is we play the same way every week, and the gaffer is not prepared to change it. And you can see in our results, this is why our season's been the way it's been. I watched us first game of the season against Leicester, and I knew that. I'll be honest with you, everyone that knows me from our group, Ash, knows I'm a bit cynical, but the results and the way we play shows why I probably think like this. First game of the season against Leicester, we weren't good. We shouldn't have lost to that Leicester side. Leicester have been poor this season. And again, it just comes down to that unrealistic way of playing. I do enjoy watching it. I think most people enjoy watching Spurs. But again, it's not sustainable.
Anyone else, man, on this topic, man?
Hold on. I just quickly wanted to ask AB a question, though. The bit that Wiley missed there, because as you said, is that Spence said when they play his way and it doesn't work, he takes it on himself.
Yes.
Now, as a manager, should he be taking it on himself, or if the players, because if they've lost and they've not played the way he wants them to play, or should be grilling them and going, hold on, what are you lot doing out there? Why is he taking it on himself? Because that means that for 19 games this season, Ange's taking it on himself and he hasn't seen a reaction from the players. And should he not be, in a sense, going, if that was Sir Alex Ferguson, that if they're not playing his way and he's put you out there, is he not trying to kick you up the arse and trying to go, you've got to up your game?
It's a very good question you've asked there. And the reason I say that is because you can look at it two ways. You can look at it from the perspective of, okay, maybe he could bollock the players and say, well, you know what, but why are you not playing a bit better in the system that I've asked for? But equally, they've been quite reliable in saying, look, we're going to trust the manager. He said that we're going to play like this every week. And ultimately, he is paid to change things if things don't work. So we can't look at the players solely or sort of blame them and say, you know what, you guys should be doing a bit better. We can critique it because that's what we're always going to do as fans. But ultimately, I'm putting this down to Ange and saying, look, if it is not working, you have to fix it. There's equally a saying that says, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it's been broken, so you've got to change it. Do you know what I mean? That's just what I think.
Yeah, no, I'd probably just echo what AB was saying, that the players are paid to play, the manager's paid to manage as well. So, I mean, I think there's a fine line that managers have to walk where they have to they should call out their players in public and say that they need to step up and do it. But he also does the stuff by protecting them as well. I mean, these players are only human, but I think there's only so much he can take on himself. But we don't know what happens behind closed doors, do we? He could literally take all the pressure from the press and then go into the dressing room and rip them a new one. Simple as that.
But we're being told here that he isn't. This is what Spence has literally just come out and said. He takes the pressure upon himself and he removes that pressure from the players.
So then it comes back to what Conte said in that interview, that they're all nice people. And it's what Mourinho said about Spurs. All Spurs players, we're all nice people. We're all lovely. We're not that special words that he wants us to be on the pitch. And we're all nice guys in there. And that one little bit of offence that goes against them and their heads go down, and they're all a bunch of children as well. It doesn't bode confidence, does it? I mean, he said some nice stuff in there, but the more that we listen and discuss it, it actually exposes a lot bigger issues in the wider context. I think now that's why we're all discussing it, to be honest.
I'm going to play another clip real quick. It's still linked to what we're talking about, so I was going to carry it on.
We want my players to play, so
that is what you just said there. That is football today.
Got you.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's so far removed from the era that I played in.
Mm-hmm.
So he's about to talk about how he played under Fergie and the difference between like modern
Jesus.
and that. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's an interesting one because people view football differently. Like some people will look at football in the modern settings, and some people will view football like back in the day. Like, let's talk about it anyway.
The manager would have a framework of a game plan for us, and in game, if we see something different, let it be. Whereas the players now is like, this is the structure of the team. This is how we're going to play. And even if you make mistakes doing what I'm saying and it's not working,
it's on.
Yeah, it's on them. So
yeah,
basically, he's saying like Keane would be on the pitch, and sometimes he would see what's going on, and he would talk to the lads, innit? He would talk to them and say like, "Raw, we got to do something here." Do you know what I mean?
On me as a manager, it's not on you.
So you're telling me Sir Alex Ferguson, he allowed you to kind of like make those calls?
Bro, he said, he used to say in the team, one of his main quotes he used to always say.
Yeah, so he's going to talk about it now on this bit as well.
I brought you here because you're good enough.
Yeah.
I brought you here because you make the right decisions on the football pitch.
So could that be the same for Ange then? Could that be Ange basically saying he's leaving a responsibility to the players? A bit like Ancelotti. Ancelotti doesn't really do too much on the sidelines. He just raises an eyebrow. Do you know what I'm saying? And lets the players get on with it.
But that shows the difference, because Ancelotti actually has people like what he's had. He's had Kroos, he's had Modric, he's had Benzema, all people that are born leaders who can actually do it. I mean, what leaders? And I think Djed says actually in later on in this interview, who are the leaders in this Tottenham squad? And it goes all very quiet. I mean, what people you say on the pitch for us would be able to make them little tweaks and have to actually have the bollocks to get up and go, no, you're playing crap, you do something about it. Because I honestly don't see enough of that. I mean, even with Arsenal, they've got players like Declan Rice, Odegaard, Raya, to be fair, all shout at each other and get stuff done. City, De Bruyne, they've got other people as well. Yeah, Rodri, all leaders on the pitch. I mean, I don't feel Spurs have really that. And I mean, it links to that leadership group that is what Maddison, Romero and Son. I mean, Romero's too busy being injured and then just getting ready for Argentina call up. Yeah. Maddison, I mean, this interview does him a bit of credit, but I mean, Spence don't really talk about Sonny, does he at all? It's, Sonny's our best mate. That's what it is. It's you want your leader to be there leading you, not being your brother, your best mate, and your friend all in one. It doesn't help, does it?
This is it. The design and makeup of our club is that we've always been known to be a nice football club, a nice bunch of lads. We've always had nice managers. Niceness doesn't win you titles, unfortunately. Sometimes you have to play ugly, sometimes you have to win ugly, sometimes you have to get the job done. And that's not saying that you're going to do anything to bring the game into disrepute, or you're going to sort of play dirty. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying sometimes you have to do things in an unconventional way, or sort of, you know, tough it out to get what we want to get. And I think under Mourinho, we sort of had that. As to why we got to the final. I'll be honest with you, it wasn't always pretty. It was quite defensive football, but we still managed to get to a final in which he was sacked 2 days beforehand.
Benton caused that kind of, like, I don't know, aggressor, like kind of, he's got that kind of viciousness about him.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's won cups for Juventus as well.
Yeah.
When he was younger, he's won. I think he won their Super Cup, which is basically their FA Cup. He's won the Italian league as well, the Scudetto. So you could say maybe he's one of the leaders. I've seen Maddison point and talk to people. Do you understand? I've seen them do that on the pitch. Then you've got Vicario. I've seen Vicario shouting at people, telling them where to be. Do you know what I mean? I've even seen him clip Bergvall around the ear. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. I'm not saying Bergvall's that type of guy, yeah. But even Bergvall, he's not, compared to Archie Gray anyway. I think he's a lot more he's got more of a nasty streak than I would say than Archie Gray has. You know, no disrespect to Archie Gray, but he comes across as what you man are saying, a nice guy, like a Brennan Johnson, a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? We do have a few nice guys, but I think there's about maybe 3 or 4. I think maybe we add another 2 or 3 more players that could be a bit more nasty. Do you guys think that would improve our chances in winning games and being harder to beat?
100%. 100%.
I mean, there was 2 players that we've lost in the last 2 seasons who, I mean, one of them I've never been a big advocate of, but was an absolute bastard when he was on the pitch, and that was Højbjerg. The geezer was a tosser on the pitch, and he knew how to rile teams up, and he knew how to keep people up.
Is he on loan? Or is he,
yeah, he's out of Marseille on loan now, and he could go permanently in the summer. And the other one's Harry Kane. I mean, Kane could be a leader, but that's purely for ability. He could lead from the front, couldn't he? So, I mean, he kind of lifted the team up around him. But Højbjerg was someone that we definitely didn't replace in terms of the leadership role. I mean, from the 6th role, he probably weren't good enough for Ange's style, but he did work for Conte and Mourinho's style. It's just the element that he adds is missing. And you guys have said that Maddison can do stuff, but then Maddison can also be a petulant child if he don't get his own way. Sonny sulks. I mean, this is the worst season that I've seen Sonny now for sulking and being not in a game. Yeah, Vicario, great, but he's been out injured for nearly 6 months from that leg injury as well, so we haven't had that on the pitch. So, and Bentancur, if he can stay fit, then you know you've got a great player there who can lead from the front. But he either makes silly interviews where he classes the whole of South Korea as one person and looking like the whole of the rest of Asia, which doesn't spin in any shape or form, gets sent off for silly red cards, or ends up getting injured because of his ACLs. So literally, it just comes back to it. There is no stability there whatsoever. And Romero, even when he fucks up, he just ends up moaning at other people, even though it's his mistake. If you're a leader, you take that and go with it. You don't just blame everyone else. And that's the problem with our guys. They can't accept responsibility and they blame everyone else for their problems.
I hear it, man. All right,
Callum, you're spot on there, mate. Spot on.
I'll play a little bit more and then I'm going to end it, but let's just carry it on a little piece.
Go and do it in a Man United shirt now. What did you say? I used to think I was 7 foot tall, bro.
Nice.
I used to think, right, I could do anything now. That's mad. But
Put it on a little bit.
Who's giving you useful advice in your teams?
To be fair, I would say Maddison, to be fair.
So, yeah, this is the bit where he talks about Maddison, giving them the arm around the shoulder, speaking about younger players, whatnot. And he kind of just says like he's probably one of the leaders. Even when he's taken, he's not about. He basically is the big bro that he kind of looks to. So, like you've already said, guys, that, you know, Maddison's a player that he looks to. But I want to see if I can find another clip outside of this.
Who do you look at before a game when you're losing sleep?
Nah, no one, man, if I'm honest. No, I'm honest.
Hey, you see this?
There we go. There we go.
You
Sums it up
see
in
this
one.
energy? This energy here? I said, yeah, you know what? That's the kind of energy we need in all of our team, you know.
Yeah.
People that back themselves. He said, right, is there any player that you look at nervous from? And he's just like, bro, nah, no one. Do you know what I mean?
In the shade, you know.
Come on,
No one.
come on.
No, to be fair, I think when it comes to 1v1 defending, I feel like not many can get the better of me. So
Yeah, man. So that, yeah, I like that talk there. He's really backing himself.
I think like we're Salah, you know, because he could be at the back stick or he could be, you know, somewhere else.
More
Like,
concentration.
yeah, exactly.
He's
with him.
elusive.
Yeah, exactly. So
So let's talk about Salah being a bit of a problem, innit? A bit of a nuisance. But 1v1, he still doesn't find him a problem. He's just saying his positioning is a little bit different. Might have to look and check his mirrors a bit more. And that's something I think he does need to work on a little bit. As if he is playing a left-sided centre-back role, full-back role, he does need to check his mirrors sometimes, especially on those crosses. Because that time we got beat 6, yeah, that was embarrassing. But yeah.
You know, he relies a lot on pace. Obviously, we know that he can do loads more than that. But did you have that one-on-one chance with him where he just knocked the ball past you? And
no, we didn't go like 1v1 for pace, but
So let's talk about Mbappe here as well, because obviously he played in France and he played for Rennes. But what I want to talk about real quick is he mentions players that he likes that he thinks are like really good, and he mentions
it's definitely a skill. But I feel like
he mentions Desiree Doué. I don't know if you guys remember, we were linked with him at one point, and he said,
Before he went to PSG.
yeah, before he went to PSG, he was like saying he's a Neymar regen. And obviously this season, if you look at his numbers, he's been doing bits at the time. So, but yeah, man, I'm going to move away from it. Marlon, was there anything else you wanted to talk about this particular season before we move on?
No, not with Spence. I think most of it's been said. But yeah, it was a decent interview. I just think I think the biggest thing that came out of it was how he felt about Conte. But the bit where I go, okay, so what did the club do to look after you while this was going on? And it just sounds like the club did what they did best and done jack crap for him. And I've always said this: when players come in, when you come to a club like Tottenham, you've got to have a certain personality. And I always say the person who had the perfect personality for Tottenham was Modric. And the reason why I say Modric is because he was coming from overseas. The club will not look after you in any shape or form, and you've got to kind of do things by yourself. And Modric was very forward thinking, and he was, he had to think. But when you look at the Conte situation with Spence, he needed an arm around him, and the club just kind of left him out to dry.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why we're in this situation with certain players. And like Callum mentions Højbjerg earlier, but yeah, we need characters like Højbjerg, but they need to be of an ability, because there were so many times last season that Højbjerg cost us goals. He'd come on in games, but he cost us so many goals because, again, he's a bit like Spencer. He doesn't check who's running through. He doesn't check for third man running. So you can have all that, but you've got to have the right dosage of players around you, especially in this system, especially if Ange is leaving it all on you on the pitch and then he's taking responsibility off it. It just becomes a bit, you need a certain type of character with a certain skill set to come in to be a Spurs player. And, it's kind of, it is one of them things. You have to, and Spence backs himself, and that's the reason why it's worked now. But he's had to have a loan move to France that he didn't like, a loan move to Leeds where the manager didn't like him because he was late. That was the only reason why, because he was late to meetings, which I believe is the reason why Ange fell out with him at the beginning in pre-season. But he's, due to injuries, he's here. And now we've got a player on our hands, hopefully.
Can I just jump in quickly? Marlon, you said something that's so important, and it's something that I've been saying as well in the background. I think to play this system, you need a specific personnel. You need sort of like what we call like hybrid players that can play sort of two ways. And I think Van der Ven would be a classic example. If you're going to play this system, you probably need two of him. Now, I'm not saying you're going to get two players of the same quality, of the exact same quality, but maybe another player that can play like him. We haven't got that. And this is the issue that we've had. So he wants to play in a certain way, but he hasn't got the clientele. He hasn't got the sort of players that we need to play that way. So I think what you've said is very important.
Yeah, because you take Van der Ven's a great example because actually, what's the most important part of this system when it comes to Van der Ven, and it's his speed. Van der Ven's not the quickest in the world, the quickest defender in the world, and people will be amazed by that. But if you go do your research, there are other defenders quicker than him in Europe. One of them could be available, and if you play it right, could be the backup to Van der Ven. But yeah, and you've still got the speed merchant, and if you're a good coach, you then coach him into a certain way to be, you know, where he can just come in for Van der Ven when we kind of do miss him.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, man. I'm going to move on to this story here. And Atletico Madrid are looking at Romero. Now, I feel like Romero, for a while, he was the first man to come out and criticize the club. So, from when I first heard that, I was like, red flag, do you understand? I was good. I was like, bro, you know what? I love that you did that. But at the same time, my skeptical side said, right, is he trying to engineer a way out? Then obviously lately, with the injuries, he came out and he's criticized how Spurs have dealt with him, innit? Saying how they dealt with him bad. And he's not really happy. And then apparently Spurs were gonna offer him a contract. I think it was 200K. They were looking to offer him. And nothing's really been said above that. And then now this news has come out, and it's saying, yeah, basically Atletico are looking to, get him down to their club. You know what I'm saying, what do you lot think? Like, are you lot happy to lose Romero? Because there's quite a few
Yes.
haters of Romero, and there's quite a few lovers as well. So, where do you lot sit on this?
I'd like to jump straight in because I've had a feeling about Romero for quite a while. When he first came, I loved him, and I'll be honest with you, it's not that I'm not a fan. It's just that I think he's quite unreliable. I think he needs to be played with, and I've always said this. He needs to be played with another centre back that is going to sort of coach him through the game as well. Mickey's quite young. I don't think Mickey can do that for him. So he needs to be paired with another centre back, a left-sided centre back that's going to sort of say, you know what, step, or you know what, don't lunge in, or just sort of talking for the game, because he's quite rash. And if you look at a lot of what he's done for us in terms of, he's had some brilliant games and he sort of starts to play well for us because he's a really good ball playing centre back. But a lot of what he does for us is quite rash. He makes a lot of rash decisions in terms of tackles. He gets sent off quite a lot, and for me, he's quite unreliable. I don't ever see Romero and feel filled with joy that he's necessarily gonna do the job or do the business for us throughout the whole game. He might start well, and then before you know it, penalty. Before you know it, rash tackle, red card. So I'll be honest with you, he might be a bit more defensively structured under the Atletico manager. Under Simeone, I think he might be a bit more defensively structured under Simeone. So I wouldn't be too sad if he left. And not only that, I think mentally he's checked out of the club as well. I don't think he wants to be at Spurs anymore.
Callum, do you agree?
Yeah, I think AB's made a lot of valid points for it. I mean, do we wait until Pochettino comes in the summer and then that gives him an Argentine to lead him as manager or not? No, but AB, you are correct. I mean, Romero's rashness has gone down a lot this season, but that's because he hasn't hardly played, has he?
Yeah.
He's been out injured for so long. And I mean, when that interview came out, when he criticised the team, I just thought, bloody hell, I didn't know Danny Rose was still here. I didn't know he was going to go around criticising the board and commenting. I mean, it was just short about saying about looking up players on Google. Let's put it that way. So it's so difficult. But if they are going to go, I mean, what's he got? 2 years left on his contract from this year. It's the best window to sell him in if you're going to get any resale value. So what are we saying, 70, 80 million that Spurs will want for him. I mean, if we can do that, we can go out and get another good defender. I mean, he's not irreplaceable, I wouldn't say, because Ange likes speedy ball playing centre backs. Romero ain't exactly the fastest. I would say even Danso is probably more towards the style that we have got. I mean, if we can ship out Dragusin and Romero in the summer and get two better options, then it's got to be looked at. and probably Spanish football would suit him under Simeone. So if he does go, thank you very much, Romero, and we move on to the next one. The club's bigger than the players. It's just that it doesn't help that he has been one of our better players. I don't exactly rate him as highly as I did, and I do think Van der Ven's got a better ceiling than him as a player. So if he does want to go, and we're not going to offer him a new contract, or if he turns down a contract, then go. I don't want disgruntled players at the club. I want players who want to play for whatever manager we've got. So good luck to him if he wants to go to Real or Atletico.
Marlon's shaking his head. I want to hear what Marlon's got to say. I'm really interested. Marlon, what are you thinking?
He thinks I'm chatting shit.
He probably thinks I'm chatting rubbish and all, but this is what we're here for. I want to hear it, Marlon. Come on, let's go.
I think, do you know what? I think a lot of our fans are deluded when it comes to Romero. And
Okay,
I'll explain why. Romero is clearly Tottenham's best defender. He is better than Van der Ven. However, this system is suited for Van der Ven and not Romero. And that's the reason why everyone looks at Van der Ven and goes, oh, Van der Ven, Van der Ven, Van der Ven. But let's go back to the Fulham game on the last Fulham game. When does it all go pear-shaped for Spurs? As soon as Romero comes off that pitch. There is a reason why this guy is a World Cup winner. And I think a lot of Spurs fans are looking at it going, I get the injury record ain't great, but but this season, who did he thank when he put on Instagram when he finally got back? Who did he thank?
The Argentine medical team.
The Argentine medical team. Argentine medical. It just shows you where our players are at. Van der Ven has missed as many games as Romero, but yet we're going to look at the Romero situation and go, it's all his fault because we're all tinted with what Romero's Van der Ven's doing because in the system it suits him better. Now, I like Van der Ven. Van der Ven, I think, is a wonderful player, but I also think Romero is. But let's take Porro. Porro's flaws were highlighted as soon as Romero came out the team because everyone was like, "Oh, look, Porro's improved." As soon as Romero came out the team, Porro went downhill, and everyone was like, "No, we need Spence. Before that, no one was talking about. Everyone was talking about Romero's mistakes, and I think that's what's key to this. That most people, when Romero goes, it will be one of them situations where Spurs fans will all go, "We are missing him," and that's me being honest with the whole situation. The injury record, and I get the rashness. The rashness got on my nerves too. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at the rashness and the situation it comes in because he's a winner. And it always comes in situations when the team is playing badly and he doesn't like the style that we're playing. Especially when under Conte. Conte was and against AC Milan when it was 0-0. And everyone was sitting there talking about why the hell are we defending a 0-0 draw when we're losing? Romero was frustrated with that. He's frustrated with the tactics.
So I've got a question for you, Marlon, directly. Yeah. So can you justify the rashness of one of our, if not our main centre-back, for being passionate? So are you going to say that because he's passionate, his rashness is okay?
No,
because to me, that's my biggest issue with him.
No. So I look at it and go, well, go build a team that around him that can, where he doesn't have to get frustrated and where he is rash, because everyone goes, he wants to play for, like, this is a World Cup winner. This is the guy that Messi left Barcelona for. This was the guy he wanted. Right? I'm not going to sit there and say Messi's great at picking players, but the Romero I think his first game against Saudi Arabia in the World Cup was probably his worst game. But after that, how solid was he in that back line for Argentina?
I mean, he is a class player, and there's no doubt in it. We can praise him.
But if we get rid of Romero, you do realise we're not going to get the same quality.
Oh no! I mean, literally,
because we've tried Danso and we've tried Dragusin, and who else has played? Archie Gray's been there. No one has been at the level, and Danso, to be fair to him, has come in and done well. However, we're not going to get that at that level, and then you're asking Van der Ven to cover the other person. I don't think that's going to happen.
What we should do, we should all set up a conference call with Daniel Levy and tell him what we want, and he'll then go to us. Right, I've found this brilliant centre back playing at League One level,
Yeah.
or we've got Ashley Phillips coming back in the summer, and that's what you're going to be
But
playing with.
this is the comment, and this is where I am with Destiny on this, and this is where I do agree with you. I don't think he loves Spurs anymore.
No.
But I don't think many of the players do. But Romero is kind of looking at going, I need a way out.
Yeah.
Because he clearly knows his options. He's probably our most sellable asset that we've got in the squad right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. Yeah.
He's probably worth the most amount of money that we could get for any player. And that would be bar Son, but Son comes with commercial assets, but he won't go as much as for Romero.
Are you saying then he will go for more money than Kulu, you reckon?
No,
Yes.
well, yeah, he would. If we were selling both of them today in the current market, there'll be more takers for Romero than there would be for Kulu. There'll be more of a war for him than what you'd get for Kulu. Kulu suits certain styles, certain systems, where Romero could walk into probably most teams in Europe and just walk straight in. Yeah. And this is and the injury part, because the injury is not just this season. The injuries are part of last season and they're part of the season before as well. But Van der Ven's not a saint when it comes to injuries. But yet we're not looking at him. No one's looking at him going, we should sell him because of injuries.
I think what this all stems back to is the fact of how far Spurs has fallen as a club, because we never want to sell these players. I mean, yeah, okay, if Romero wants to go, then we can say, yeah, great, he's our most sellable asset. But if we want to be building a great team that's going to compete for stuff, like you've alluded to, he is our best defender, if not one of our best on his day. And we want to build our team around this, but it's because what we were saying in the green room before the actual game, that Tottenham are a business. They don't care about the football inside. We're always going to be sold short. We're always going to have this dream of these great players that are going to be wonderful, and then we just get sold. Oh, there goes another one of our best players to the big teams. We're not a big club, are we? We are so far removed from it now that there's a lot of fans who think we can live on our glory days, but I mean, how long's it been since them glory days for it? And we can't blow our own trumpets and say that we're anything special, because where are we? 15th in the Premier League. We are hopefully maybe going to get through the next round of the Europa League. That's all. We got nothing to sing about, have we? And Romero sees that, and probably other people see that. It's just the people at the top of the club don't. And unfortunately, these players are the most sellable asset in a business because they are assets.
Yeah, and the things that I find with Romero, I feel like there's a lot of Spurs fans are falling out of love with him and actually are not looking at the player, and they're looking at the personality. And I think that's the biggest issue, where I think if Romero does leave, he's a big gaping hole. And I don't think we have a player in the squad that's even at his level. And that's just me personally. And I think once he's gone and he does go to an Atletico Madrid, even if he went Real Madrid, all of us will be looking like, why didn't we have that Romero? We don't have that Romero because we don't have the manager. And we haven't had the manager that suits Romero and the sort of how he would fit into the team. Because as soon as he goes, I tell you now, a lot of us are going to regret it. A lot of people will be like,
oh. Are we saying then Romero hasn't got that bozo gene in him? Do you know what I'm saying? He hasn't got that bozo moment where he just switches off and he just doesn't matter. Me personally, I look at Romero, when we're in possession, when we're playing out from the back, him passing through those lines, incredible. We're not going to get a better player at centre back that's on the ball, can put his foot on the ball, and find a forward pass to the midfield to attack.
Like how Alderweireld used to be, them long pinging balls.
Right, he punches the ball through the lines, literally pace on it.
Yeah,
and that's what starts our attacks, and that's why I think Marlon already alluded to it. Porro plays a lot better with someone with Romero behind him because he's able to hold on to it, get his head up. And some people, hey, why is he taking so long on the ball? It's because he's trying to spot movement. He's trying to find the runners. Yeah. That's why. And he's got that kind of cultured way of playing. And he used to play in the back three. If you play in the back three, that means you don't need a DM because that central centre back can push into midfield at times and dictate play. Do you understand? And that's what Romero has on him, in my opinion. Defensively, he is front-footed, meaning that he's got the initiative. He wants to go and attack before it actually happens. So he wants to smell the danger. He wants to be more assertive in that sense. He wants to be progressive. He's not someone that kind of delays. He's more like, yeah, before it actually happens, I'm going to come snap at your heels, win the ball high up, and then just recycle the ball up. So that's what he's really good. He's really good in the air as well. Set pieces. One thing I think we've missed him because I think we've had the second most amount of set pieces in the league, but we haven't scored a great deal. I think we're like bottom 4 or bottom 5 in terms of goals from set pieces.
Yeah.
I think a big part of that is because Romero hasn't been in the squad. Do you know what I mean? Now, how many times has Romero scored those massive and important headers? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
He's a weapon. He's a weapon.
Ash, can I quickly chime in there? You've said something very important as well, just leading on to the sort of goal contribution side of it. For centre-back, his goal contribution is really good. He does pop up with a few goals, and you don't see that from centre-backs often. So, you know what, Marlon, I'm kind of leaning towards what you're saying a bit more.
Look at it like this. If I went and said to you, go put Romero next to a Van Dijk and go slot him in Liverpool right now in the title-winning team, everyone would be sitting there going, oh my God, I want that Romero. But because he's at Tottenham and he's making these mistakes and all this kind of stuff because he's in the Ange system and he's been from a Conte system, I don't think none of that. And that's why I think he's more down to the manager style. Because everyone was blaming him at the beginning of the season. Everyone was saying he was making this mistake, that mistake, this mistake. But if you actually go and look at those games where he's making a mistake, it was down to where Ange wanted the players. The problem is when he came out the team, those mistakes weren't happening because the mistakes started to happen from the rest of the team because it wasn't left on Romero to do it.
Yeah, he actually played really well. I think the only game that he was a bit crap in was the Newcastle game. But like you say, that was because of the high line. He can't play a high line.
And he went on the left on that game. Yeah, do you remember? He went on the left side I think Dragic was on the right.
Because that's when Van de Ven did his hammy early on and all that, tweaked it. And that's the thing. I mean, whoever scouted Dragusin as well. I mean, I don't know whoever thought he was suited to Ange's style, but Jesus Christ, that person needs shooting as well. So it's
wrong manager he was for. Definitely the wrong manager.
Yeah, he was designed for a Conte back three and all that. So I mean, maybe it was a hangover from that. But I don't want our best players to leave Spurs. I don't want Romero to go. We've all seen it. We've been there, seen it, done it all the time before.
Yeah, but Callum, do you think, because there's an argument to be had there. Do people think that we have to sell the asset whilst it's high? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So if a player does indicate he wants to leave, in the past, we've kind of held on to players saying, well, we're not a selling club. And then all of a sudden, that player's got 1 year left in their contract and we get nothing for him. So,
well, that's the problem we've got, haven't we? Because he's got 2 years left after this.
Yeah, so is it now the time to sell like your Romeros for like what you said? You guys are saying what 70 million?
Yeah, I mean it's definitely got validity to it, but I mean
that from Atletico.
But no, they've just they've only just spent that on Alvarez, haven't they? And literally they're still paying that back.
Big money on what's his face from Chelsea as well. The guy that we had. They spent about 50 million.
What, Conor Gallagher?
Conor Gallagher, yeah.
Gallagher, yeah.
So they clearly cough up. Do you know what I'm saying?
If it's their number one target, they will.
Yeah. So if Romero's like a big target, assuming he thinks he'll improve his team, and Levy, you know how he does it. When it comes to selling players,
I don't think Atletico will be his only option.
No, Real's definitely going to be in there. I think I'd say PSG would probably be sniffing. They're the ones that are going to have the money, and maybe even Saudi might have a look. You never know, but I don't. If Spurs are going to hold on to the players, or if they, let's put it this way: if players get to the position where they're unhappy at Spurs, it's because what the club has done. It's either they've not been played, they've been underutilised, they feel undervalued. And I think Romero probably feels undervalued based on the fact that he's not got a contract. But when you look how many first team players have actually signed new contracts in the last couple of years, it's not a lot. Son signed an extension, which was triggered by the club. Ben Davis has signed a potentially 1 year extension. Then it's Djed.
Djed Spence, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but that's Djed. He was a squad player when he signed it, didn't he? So it might have been a condition of the contract to say, okay, you'll get a little bit more game time. All the rest of them haven't really.
Right.
Bentancur
And
hasn't.
I think, just to add on to that, just to chime in, bro, I think personally, these footballers have high ambitions. They've got high standards. And they say, look, if we're not getting Champions League football, why am I signing?
Yeah.
Why am I, if we're not aspiring for Champions League football, why am I staying at this club? Do you know what I'm
Spurs
saying?
are a stepping stone club. We are a stepping stone club. And if you do play nice attacking football, then that does attract the sort of sight of these big European clubs, because we can't offer them guaranteed of Champions League every year. I mean, how long has it been since we've been in the Champions League proper? About 3 years now, something like that. How does that inspire you to want to play? I mean, at least we had Europa League this year. It could have been Checkatrade Trophy time, and we could have been playing against God knows what in Azerbaijan or something like that.
But
So, I
listen,
mean,
Kulu, if he doesn't get any European football, he's off. I'm telling you guys from now. Let it be known.
he'll go. Bentancur would probably go.
Bentancur, look, I think, look, that whole South American conjunct, like Bentancur, South American, Romero, South American. Obviously, we don't count Reliance or Richarlison, but we know they're gone as well.
I think anyone that's signed by Paratici will go.
Yeah.
I think it's Paratici's sort of clique that he had there that he brought in. They'll go.
Yeah, and I wonder how the fans will react, because I know fans love Kulusevski. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But if we get knocked out of Europa and we don't get no Europe, bro, it's mad. I can't see him signing a new contract. I'm being totally honest.
He'll go with Ange.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake.
It sounds doom and gloom, but I mean, that's how I'm seeing it. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but again, we will make money of it, and then from that money, like Adrian said in the comments, how much money will we have to spend in the summer, and like, what kind of players can we attract? Because we're being
it's gonna be more the attractive sort of players, because if we don't make, you gotta remember, like, half the teams in the Premier League will probably be in Europe next year.
Yeah,
from the sounds of it. So we'll probably be the only ones that are not. We're not the best players anyway, so that's the other thing that we get.
We have to raise our wages then to get players in.
We're gonna have to overpay, and we're gonna have to give them the ambition of. Well, the club are gonna have to show them the ambition to say, no, we are aiming to be back where we belong. But the problem is that with Ange Postecoglou or not.
But the thing is, well, do you think that's why we're going through the whole youth project as well? Because with the young,
you don't have to pay big money. It's cheaper.
You don't have to pay big wages, and you can guarantee them.
It's gone now.
Playing game, you can guarantee them playing time. So you can say, look, you're gonna, like, if you go City,
you need a coach for that, don't you?
Yeah, you do need coaches for that. but
no, he's made a very good point.
Oh, you do. You do
need a coach for that, not coaches. A coach that's going to
need a coach. And
yeah,
I'm not saying it like to say it's a good thing, by the way. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it like, oh my goodness, we're going to get all the youngsters. No, I ain't doing that. We're not doing that. I'm saying like this is the reason why we've been linked with
but do you think they're going to make the same mistake again, because they went that route this summer and look where the hell we've ended up because of it?
I mean, the idea this summer was right. It's just the balance of players that came in. It should have been, okay, yeah, we bring in Odebear, Bergvall and Gray, and we bring in Solanke, and then we bring in another 2 players. So you get 3 youngsters and 3 senior pros to balance that. Because we lost, 10 senior pros last summer, didn't we? Royale, Højbjerg, Sanchez, Dyer. I know they're not good enough players, but they are people who
don't tell Bayern Munich that Dyer's not good enough, mate.
Oh, don't. now he's playing there. I mean, to be fair though, they did sell Emerson Royale, and AC Milan wanted to sell him within about 5 months. So there was at least something interested with that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, look, I think, like, for example, we're linked to another player, and his name's called Chris Rigg. Yeah, he's from Sunderland.
They're
obviously,
CDM, they're 6.
yeah. So obviously we've been linked with Bellingham as well. But again,
Yeah, I was going to say I'd rather have Job. Yeah,
they're all youngsters, in it, and
Mhm.
look, from a lower league as well. And so maybe the idea is thinking, all right, cool. This is maybe our level now. This is maybe what we can attract. Like Levy's actually working ultra hard as we talk on that deal for Diblin, trying to get that one over the
Yeah, but
line.
even again, that's all good. That's all well and good. But if we get rid of Romero, and then we are selling the other senior players as well, and you're literally relying on Madison and Son, and and it's present moment, it looks like it could be Ange at the start of next season. Good luck. These podcasts are going to be literally outrageous.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%. I
yeah.
was getting to that because you can't lose that much amount of experience, especially in the midfield. That is crazy for me. If Benton calls to go the same window as Romero, like that to me is mad enough.
We're cooked.
Let alone Kulizeski, like because obviously Paratici's been rumored to go to AC Milan.
Done
Not
doing it, apparently. Apparently it's all done. All behind the scenes, done and dusted.
not finalised, and obviously
Yeah, but again,
But-
does that not show you again? Because if you look at it, he's been at the game for how long? He's been offered to come back to Spurs, and he chose now. Sod that.
yeah, it's crazy. I don't know, like
It's a
financial
crazy thing.
package. I thought
Spurs would have offered him a better financial package because the Italians are broke.
they are broke.
They
So
are
that's what I'm
broke.
saying. I
So
thought the financial package would have been enough to
enough,
keep
but
him
you
in
look at it
London.
going,
No,
yeah, and you look at it going, what in the world are we doing as a club right now? What are we doing?
yeah, no, it's crazy. It's
But
crazy.
Callum, you have to go, don't you?
Yeah, sorry boys. It's I got an early one, so I think I've hit my limit, to be honest. And bed's crying out for me. I'm not going to lie, but no, I really appreciate tonight.
Nice one, well, nice to
Just
meet
let
you.
everyone know where they can find you before you can go to the 2 channels.
Yeah, so you can find me on Park Lane Podcast on Sunday night. You can find me on Harry's channel as well, on his regular shows on Mondays, and other content as well that he does throughout the week. And if anyone wants to bother listening to any of my other waffle, you can find me at Callum Stubbs 97 on X. But no, I really appreciate having me on for my debut tonight, boys, and just give me a shout when you want me to come on again.
No worries. Thanks again, Callum. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
boys.
Big up, Callum, man. Nice to meet you as well, man.
Big up, boys. See you later. Bye.
Peace, peace, peace.
But yeah, man, as I was saying,
Again.
that's the whole Paratici not wanting to come back again. Is this another Levy masterclass of this is what it's like to work underneath him?
Yeah, yeah, I think so, man.
It's worrying times because I look at it and go, yeah, I don't even mind the youngsters that came in. I have my issues with certain players, but for me, with Archie Gray as well, I look at it and go, he's not a right back, he's not a left back. I can clearly see he's not in that position. He's not a centre back. Just play him in that DM role. If it doesn't work out for him, it doesn't work out for him. As long as he's learning there.
That's what I'm saying. The last 2 games now, last 10 to 9 games, either play him in a 6 role next to someone else, or play him as an 8.
Because he wasn't great. He wasn't great against Fulham, but I'm not going to sit there and go, "Oh my god, he was this, that, and the other." Because actually, it was good to actually see what he was going to actually be like. But now he can see that Fulham game and learn from it and learn how to play that position.
Allow him some rhythm, meaning allow him a few games in a row before we judge him. Allow him 3 or 4 games in that position.
Stamford Bridge is going to be the perfect place for him. Yeah. Apparently, it was where he did play in that role for Leeds in the FA Cup.
100%.
Let him have another. Let him show him the love and go, do it again.
100%.
Do it again. I've got no. But where I have start having problems with the managers when you're playing him in, and everyone says, "Oh yeah, there was no one else. There was no one else." Well, if you're going to sit there and play Archie Gray out of position, there were other people.
So I've got a question, just on a random one. But do you think Ange has moved away from his tactics from what he started out on? Because, as I said before,
just can't play him. Just can't play him.
But he's meant to have his players back. I thought he would have reverted back to type. Do you understand? And
but you have to see it as like this, because you say he's got his players back, but he's got Djed Spence now in the team.
Okay.
right? So that's one player is completely different to how it started at the beginning. Bergval's now in the team. Bentancur's back. These are players that weren't in his team at the beginning of the season. So they are different types of players, because if we looked at the beginning of the season and we went, name his best 11, you would have gone Vicario, Porro, Romero, Van der Ven, Udogie, Sarr, Basuma, Madison, Son, Kulusevski, Solanke.
Mm.
But that's not the case. And maybe Brennan Johnson would be the 12th man.
Yeah.
Where you can come in and out. But things changed.
Yeah.
And that's the problem now. You've got different players to come in and out.
But wouldn't you say that, okay, cool. You've got Tell and Odobert that's been added to that squad. Let's face it. Odobert was brought in the summer and he preferred him when he was fit to Johnson. And Johnson was a regular starter as the right-sided player. Kulu was in the midfield, if we're being honest.
Did Odobert? I only played like 2 games, didn't he, before he got injured?
But yeah, but he was starting over Johnson. Or have I got
I think he had one start and then he got injured, didn't he, after that?
Yeah, but he got I think he had 2, didn't he? Did he not have Newcastle and Everton? Or Everton, no, it was Everton.
No, he came on for one. I know he came on for one, and then you're right, he definitely started. I can't remember who it was against. It might have been Everton.
Yeah,
he started against Everton. Left, though. Didn't he start on the left, not the right?
No, he started on the right. Because I remember he was ahead of Johnson. I remember that was a thing. So he started ahead of Johnson. And then again, Europa, he started again. He started again in Europa as well. So, like, Odebert's back, innit? Odebert's back. Tell's been added. I just personally think the coaches, whether it's Ange, I don't know who's running the team. I don't know if Ange is running the team or if the coaches are running
Spence just told you who's running the team.
No, I just thought I'd throw it out there as a debate, innit?
Did you not listen to me?
Matty Wells and Mason, I don't know. Because certain times, like, I thought Ange Ball was inverting both fullbacks, innit? So I was expecting players to come back. That's what he's going to do. So I wasn't sure if Matty Wells was like, nah, we're going to invert one fullback at a time just to help the progression, because the centre-backs aren't as confident. Well, Romero's there, but if you take Romero out of it and you've got no Van der Ven,
so
progress out of the back. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why one of
just go back to the Odobert thing. So he started left wing against Everton. I thought he did. He started left wing against Everton, which he started, and then he started. You were right. He then started against Newcastle. He started on the right and played 74 minutes. He was was substituted. I don't know this one. Right. It was Arsenal the next game, which he did play on the right. I think Brendan Johnson started against Arsenal. Can't remember.
Probably. I'll have to check myself.
But then and then that was it. He got injured. He never played again.
That was in Europa when he pulled the hamstring, right?
Let me just check. I am on it. Yeah, against Alkmaar, funny enough.
Yeah.
But because it makes it so. I'll just throw this out there. You know, Odebert's only played 3 games in the Europa League, and they've all been against Alkmaar.
Imagine that. That's crazy.
No, but just going back to what our conversation was about Odobert earlier, he's only really realistically started 1 game at right wing.
Yeah, he has. But I'm just saying, like, I think that Ange got it completely wrong then on Tell, playing him up front, because Tell is not a hold-up guy. He should have had Tell.
He's put him in a situation.
You see what he did at France, right? I know it's under 21s, it's a lower level, and I know it's like, who was it that he scored against? I forgot the team he scored against. If it was Austria or one of them teams. Anyway, he scored 2 goals, and he was running in behind, and he was playing off the left as well. Do you know what I'm saying? Did you see the goals? He actually.
I didn't see his goals. I knew he scored 2 against Austria. He scored.
If you see the goals, if you see the goals, he's come.
It was Odebert's performance against England, which was the one that everyone raved about, because that.
Odobert on the right,
yeah,
moving mad. Do you understand? And then obviously, like I said before earlier in the show,
they lost, didn't it? Did they lose? Did he score?
Yeah, England lost 4-2.
Yeah,
England.
Slovakia. They played Slovakia. That's it. Under 21s.
Yeah. So, but if you look at the lineup here, it was Ekatike. Obviously, you were going to play Frankfurt, whatnot. He scored a hat trick. But obviously, everyone's raving about the Spurs player, isn't it? Because we're Spurs fans, isn't it? So Odobert done was it Rico Lewis on the right?
It was Rico Lewis, but Rico Lewis was playing left back, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was playing left back. Yeah. So that's another.
I've never been a big fan of Rico.
Now Rico defensively is not that. He's not that.
He's not.
Not it.
He's so Man City.
Yeah, he's so Man City, you know what I'm saying? On the ball, inverting, defending, suspect.
Yeah, but getting back to your question, was it has Ange changed? I can't remember what your question was.
Has Ange changed? Has he changed his tactic? Is he going back to that proper? Because before I felt he was more gun ho, and I feel like he's compromised a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And that's it's costing them games. Him compromising, not because the reason why he inverted both fullbacks, whether people like it or not, is to suffocate the midfield so we'd have an overload centrally. Do you understand? So rather than, because when I'm watching us against Fulham, we play around their press because they do the mid block. You know what I'm saying? The mid to low block. So they pack their team full of players and then.
Do you know what? That Fulham game, I think the result didn't necessarily reflect the performance.
No, I thought Bournemouth was way worse.
I thought Bournemouth were way worse, and I looked at the Fulham game and I said, when you look at it until Romero came off, Fulham just put crosses in, and we defended everything. Everything they threw at us, we defended. It was all back and forth, and I can see why Basuma got in a lot of crap by Ange, because he wasn't doing the job that he was that he did against Brentford. When I always talk about Brentford,
what was his job then? What was his job? Do you think that Ange had planned out for him?
So he was meant to help Archie Gray through it and make sure he cleaned up in certain situations, and then was the bit between him and Bentancur. But he couldn't play that way.
I just thought Basuma, when it comes to being on the ball, had lost all of his confidence, and he didn't really want to take that ball and drive forward with it and help.
But this goes back to Spence's situation of he's allowing you to go out there, just go and do it. Just go do the job he's asked you to do. Don't go and he's not. Yeah, you might not have the confidence in yourself, but he's telling you to do it. Just do what he tells you, and he will. If he doesn't sub you the first time, and he will tell you to try again until you pick up. Because Bentancur on the ball, we've seen it. He can be a decent player.
Do you think it would have made more sense then to play Maddison there?
Of course. Well, it would have made more sense if Basuma was on the bench and Maddison had played instead.
Or I know Bergvall came up with cramp, but start the players that can do the jobs that he wants, and then finish and bring those other players that aren't so good on. Do you know what I'm saying?
To be honest, he could have. I think the whole midfield was too stiff, as they say. And he should have always played one attacking player with Archie, and whether it was Basuma or Bentancur, he shouldn't have gone with all three. But it's not to say when they all came on, we played any better anyway. But we did look a bit more for parts of that second half before. Again, I'm going to sit there and say Romero came off. We looked like we were in the game.
Yeah, I want to ask you that question of what AB was meant to ask you. Yeah. And if Bentancur was to go, right, and Basuma, what midfielder are you taking? Who are you going to bring in? And why?
I'm going to go on something that you had said you had done a while back. And I'm still looking at it, and I'm still looking around my shoulder going, actually, he might, if Ange is still here, he might suit Ange more than anything. And that's the twin.
Timber. I've been thinking about it still.
Something when you took us through it that day, because I didn't really know much about him. I'd seen him a couple of times for Holland, but didn't really pay much attention. However, I've been paying attention since, and I know he's Feyenoord's captain, and he's been injured, and they've been kind of suffering without him recently.
Yes.
And I remember you going through him, and I was like, actually, and now I've watched this system take, it start to come in, and I've started to see it more and more, and especially going to the game, two of them as well. I've been looking at it going, he might be perfect for what that midfield situation is looking for. Him and Bergvall with a Madders might be what we are looking for, with an Archie Gray able to come in, because I think Archie Gray should play in 8, not a 6.
Same. I think he's at 8 as well.
So I'm just kind of looking at it, and I know they're looking at, is it Cardoso from Betis? Again, he might be another option that comes in. I'm not going to sit there and say I know everything about him, because I ain't been watching Betis that well. And to be honest, I was only watching Betis when Anthony scored, so. And that's the only time I paid any attention. But no, in all seriousness, I do look at what's his name, Timber, and go, he might suit the way Spurs want to play.
I would take if it was a Premier League player, it's not going to be easy. But we were looking at him a long time ago. He came from Sampdoria. I would take a punt on Damsgaard, because Damsgaard for me offers a different type of.
He's very Ericsson, though, isn't he? He's very Ericsson, that sort of not our original Ericsson now, where he just sits and he
plays from deep. But if you watch him if you can. The next time you watch him, he works well in tight spaces, and he is aggressive. He can win the ball back. He's got more legs than Ericsson as well. I like someone with a different profile to what we already have in terms of like passing in between the lines, passing centrally, like anywhere. The amount of times he's found your favorite player in Romero is amazing, bro. Trust me, you won't even notice him. Like, and he's a little bit older. He's a bit older. Go on. Sorry.
He's more of a number 8, though, isn't he? In that sense,
he's more of a number 8. He's more of a number 8. The problem I have with Cardoso, yes, he's combative, but I think he's a bit slow on the half turn. Does that make sense? So when you trying to like evade pressure, and the whole point of a 6 is to turn defense into attack as quickly as possible. In my opinion, yes, you want your 6 to clean up as well, but I think his passing range could be a bit better, a bit sharper for what we need. So I think him playing as a lone 6, I don't think he could work. It's a bit like, people want Gomez, from Wolves.
Yes,
Gomez, he's a good ball carrier. Not he doesn't pass the ball, he doesn't distribute, so he's another ball carrier. But again, in lone 6, you can't have a João Gomez. Just wouldn't work. Do you understand? Good idea to get maybe both of them, but to have one of them there, I just don't know. The other guy I would love is, and a lot of people are saying, the Crystal Palace midfielder.
But Wharton. Ship's out, mate.
But I don't think we could get him. That ship's gone. I spoke about him a year ago in January. Yeah? Not even last January. A year
What's happened to Hayden Hackney? Because he was about at the time as well. What's he been doing?
He's been linked to a number of clubs now, not just us. Obviously, he's still there in the background. He's still an option. But I don't know what's going on there. But the player I would like is Stiller from Stuttgart. He's another player that passes through the lines. He plays deep. He's a number 6. He's really quick on the turn. He can find those balls, and he's good positioning as well. So I just want something a little bit different to what we have in terms of like another ball carrier. Do you know what I'm saying? I'd rather have someone that could get the ball, put his foot on it, slow it down with short passing, and speed it up with long passing if we need to get in behind quick and we need to find wingers or find our forward players. Do you know what I'm saying? I would prefer that. There are 2 players that we are looking at, though, that no one's really spoken about. I'm not going to bring a video up, so don't worry about that. But the guy's name's he's called Guesende, and he's from Nice. He's a striker, but he profiles a bit like he likes to carry the ball, dribble, and he reminds me of, he's a bit of an Ekatike kind of vibes, if that makes sense, where he's a player that likes to dribble a lot, ball carry a lot. But the only thing about him, he doesn't look polished, in my opinion. He's a bit raw with it, but he's really good hold-up play, physical, a bit like Solanke. But I think he's got a better hold-up play than them. Finishing, I think he can work on, but I think that's a player that we're looking at. And there's another one real quick. He's a French winger, and he plays in France under 21s. And he plays for Strasbourg. His name is what's his name? I'm trying to find his name. His name is what his name now? His name's Bakwa.
Yeah.
He's a right winger though. He's another player that we're looking at. But yeah, man. Yeah, in terms of managers, I don't know. Have you got? I missed it. What did you say about the managers, bro? Who did you say Because I think the manager's is techie, bro. If Ange goes, I don't think it's as easy as everyone thinks, in terms of bringing a manager in.
So I was having a debate earlier, and so I think Ange's going to be here next season anyway.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, I'm getting to the
But
point
even
where
if we like see that the next 10 games and he wins 5 out of them, you still think he's there?
mate, if he wins 5 of them, Levy's happy.
So we
If you just
win, lose, win, lose, win, lose,
Mate,
win, lose, win, lose, win, lose.
yeah, he'd be happy. He'd be like, you know what, I don't have to sack him now. I know the fan. All the fans will be split. I'll leave, and
I don't think he goes unless the fans go Ange out in the stadium. If they say Ange out in the stadium, it's the only way Ange goes. And I just don't think the fan base will do that. There's too many people that love him.
The how I'm feeling at the moment with I think there's managers out there. I was debating Danilis and Nige earlier because I was saying that, and Savvy came on straight after and said, "Huh? Well, we can't get a Thomas Frank out of Brentford," and I don't think we can. I don't think Thomas Frank and Brentford and us are. I don't think many clubs can get Thomas Frank out of Brentford, and everyone's like, "But is he not ambitious enough?" I don't. Just when you're suited to a club, sometimes it's a bit like Simeone. You've been there for a certain amount of years. You know the ins and outs. You've got so much trust, and then you're being asked by a circus down the road to come and join.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's looking at Spurs as an attractive offer. When he has and he's built a relationship with Brentford. He's been there way too long. He is the furniture. I said Marco Silva and Ariada are probably more likely and more reachable for us to get. But again, it depends on what Fulham and Bournemouth have got to offer us in football next year. If they've both got Europe, we're now looking in Europe for a manager. And unless, Xavi's out of a job, maybe it's him.
Oh, that would unite the fan base.
Yeah, because
he's unite the fan base. Simple.
Yeah, maybe it's him. Do you know what? I'd be cheeky and I'd be like, Zidane. Come over, go, mate. I've always said I'd love him. I think he'd be perfect for this club.
Wow.
Because he likes to work with youngsters, isn't he? That's what he tried to. Because that was the whole reason why Wenger didn't go to Real Madrid. Zidane tried to do it to a certain extent, but he did have Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know really. I'm not really fussed.
I think it's I don't know. Like it's like Silva. It's like he's done a good job at Fulham,
but will he do the same at Spurs?
Yeah, I'm like the culture of Spurs. Can he thrive and step up and get us to the level where we need to get past that kind of top 6? Are we now just top 6? Is that, or is he going to get us into top 4? Like, what is the real ambition of a?
So the ambition next year should be just to make it into the top 10. Really.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do more than because Ange has now put us in such a situation, whether we like him or not, that he's put us in a situation where we are 13th, 14th. So a top half finish should be.
If we lose against Chelsea, by the way.
Pardon?
Could be 16th if we lose against Chelsea.
Yeah, but 14th, 16th, 12th. We're not going higher than 12th. It's all the same. It's all relative now, isn't it? Really.
To me, we're not going higher than 12.
But it's all relative. So you just have to look at it and look. I do look at it and go, you can't really. I know everyone's saying write off the league, but you can't write off the league because the league form will go into Europe. That form is very, very similar, especially when you get to the business end of the season. Even though West Ham fans might not agree, but you still have to have some sort of confidence within the team and make sure you have that winning mentality. So I look at it and go, I just don't know. I really don't know. I think I'll still be here talking about it next season. I'll be moaning. I'll be loving them. I'll be supporting them. But it's going to be interesting times. Maybe this is the really painful rebuild that none of us could hack, and we're going through it now.
How long is that rebuild though? What does that look like? I mean, because there's one thing having a rebuild and knowing that all right, we're gonna go through this for like the next year or 18 months, and you see green shoots, and you can understand. All right, we are deep in the projects. You know what I'm saying? In my projects, we're deep in it, deep. And you're saying, all right, cool, I understand, because the whole point of like Paratici's gone, as you said, right? Langer is basically the boss, really,
I don't trust him. I don't trust him.
of the foot. Like he's the man that's gonna pick the next manager, and or stay with the next manager. Like it's
But,
on him. So the
well,
philosophy has to be
maybe that's what the issue is, because he didn't pick this manager, did he?
he never picked his manager. He never.
It was
All right.
Scott Munn.
What manager did he pick at Villa? Did he pick Emery?
I don't know.
If he picked Emery, is there hope? Or was
No,
he
not really. Not really. When it was them lot that got rid of him, told him your promotion is now demotion. I don't know.
Yeah, they did demote him from his role.
Yeah,
But was that because Emery come in and he was like, "Nah, you're not
I
good."
want my guy. Yeah, not good. You're not my guy. You're not. Yeah, not that guy.
Yeah, so that I don't know. Like,
Could we get Emery out of Villa?
wow, could you imagine? That would be cheeky. That would be. But do you think the fans would want Emery? I don't know.
I think at this present moment, Emery is
Anyone.
showing.
So
I think everyone's in that sense of anyone will do,
yeah.
apart from Mourinho.
Apart from Mourinho,
Yeah, apart from Mourinho, I think anyone's in that. Anyone, like a lot of people in anyone over Ange.
you think Spurs fans will take Conte back? Never.
I think they wouldn't, but at this present moment to where things are, they're taking back.
Oh, but are we there yet as a fan base? We're like we've had enough of Ange. I don't know if we're there yet, man. Honestly, because
I think
it's not toxic in the stadium like that.
I think a lot of fans have given up on Ange.
Yeah, I think
even the most loyal Ange fans have given up on him, but it's a case of they're just gonna stick with it because they're like, there's no one else out there. But if you went and gave them, say we did offer them Emery or Ange, and when this is what you got the choice of next summer, a lot of them would probably pick Emery.
do you know what I honestly think? I think with a lot of Spurs fans, they're sick of chopping and changing, and they just want to see out a project. I think that's what a lot of fans.
Yeah, but then sometimes
some fans.
Yeah, but you sometimes have to sit there and weigh it all up and go, okay, you're sick and tired of chopping and changing, but you can't just keep someone because you want to chop. You're sick and tired of chopping and changing, because if it's not working out, it's not working out, and you have to sometimes just bite the bullet and go, I know I've made many mistakes in the past.
So do you think that's the reason? And do you think it's because of the history from before? That's the reason why they wanted to stick with Ange? Because if we never had this where we chopped and changed, like, for example, imagine if we didn't have like Mourinho and Conte and Nuno, and we just had one manager in between Poch, then maybe like we would be a bit different.
Yeah, Ange would have gone, mate. It'd be a totally different scenario. Ange would be gone because everyone would be like, no, hold on. We've had two attacking managers that have done well. And then you're looking at it going, well, he's brought us attacking football. This is what we wanted. Do we have to kind of stick with it and go, well, he listened to us and we got it wrong as a fan base?
So the fans are the problem.
We might be.
Yeah.
And it's we. I did say we. We might be.
we are the fans. So, yeah. So we are the problem.
Yeah. We are the problem.
We are
me, you, and everyone in the look. Me, you, and all of us in the chat. Everyone out there. We're all the problem.
It's crazy. I honestly, like, I don't know. Like, even if like, because I've been doing more research, and there was an article on who's been the best manager and who's been like the not so best manager of the season. And you know where Ange was, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is like football journalism. It's not no longer like, it's the Athletic. I'll be real. It's the Athletic, innit? Not everyone's a fan of the Athletic. Some people hate it, whatever. But at least it's not biased. It's a group of journalists that, you know. Oh, biased to who? What clubs are they biased to then?
It depends on how clubs have treated them. in certain stadiums because obviously they get invited. So it depends on how they're being treated by these other
Well,
clubs and stuff. It's always going to be biased. Look,
so,
it goes back to the tier list of certain side you created. It's
well,
always going to
well,
be some sort of bias in it.
well. They
But
didn't have Ange isn't too high on their list. Put it that way.
yeah, but then you look at someone like what's his name? The guy from last week on Spurs. The cricket, the one who writes about the cricket, the one who had the argument with Lubo.
I don't know, man. David, I don't know.
No, I forgot his name now. Why have I forgotten his name? Because thing. But you look at someone like him who's in the know-how, and he was really with Ange.
Yeah. Was this the one when Jim was on? Or no?
No, Lubo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot his name now. I don't know why his name's just.
Are you saying
Paul Newman. Paul Newman.
Yeah.
And that was just a brilliant debate because you're looking at someone who isn't, who's got friends in the media, journalists and stuff, and he's sitting there backing Ange, and then you've got this a season ticket holder going, "No, I'm not having it."
Yeah, it was a good watch. Actually,
it was probably one of the best debates that you probably could have got this year.
Yeah.
That's without us seeing Sava versus Jim yet. Yeah. We'll try, people. We'll try. Love to them both.
Yeah, but no, like it's mad. I could see it's hard. It's That's what I'm saying. Either way I look at it, get a new manager in. Like I was even looking at the Ajax manager who used to manage Nice. He got Nice fifth in it, I think, and then he got a job at Ajax, and now he's got them top of the league. Yeah, but again, he's a young manager, unproven. He's like 35. I do like this style, but
I look at someone like. Do you know what? If I knew that Ten Hag was going to bring his Ajax style to Spurs, the Ajax style, not the one he had at Manchester United where he wasn't good.
People are you right now, boy.
Yeah. But if you knew that Ten Hag was going to bring back that Ajax style that he had, the one that Man United thought they were getting, you'd sit there and go, actually, Ten Hag would be perfect for this situation right now because you've got your young players, you've got your established Premier League players. But because the crap you've done at Man United, and you don't know if it's Man United or it's Ten Hag yet. Until Ten Hag finds another job, you don't know because you look at Anthony, you look at Sancho, and you look at everyone else, and you go, maybe it was Man United.
Yeah,
you look at it in that sense, but yeah, it's just I don't know. Look, I personally, I think Ange's going to be
what
here.
Would you like to see happen? What would you like to see happen then?
I don't know. I've got to see the players coming in first before I even think about the managers.
So isn't it meant to be the other way around? Is we meant to get the coach first and then the manager to come?
It's meant to be, but this is yeah. But you might as well just put Daniel Levy in charge for all I care.
Because they're lining up the players already. So you're right, man. They're lining up the players already, man.
The players are already there. The players. It's not. This club never relies on the manager. It's only Solanke is the only person who came through the door the whole summer that Ange wanted. Well, that we've been told that he wanted. We don't know if he wanted the rest of them, but I think he's towed the line with them.
Yeah.
Even with Odebert, whether he plays him or not, but I reckon he towed the line. But we are where we are.
Oh, they want to Doué, innit? But like I said, but then Doué went to PSG. PSG. Yeah. So, yeah, man, it's mad. But boy, I have to end it there, man. You know what I'm saying? I was meant to do a quick show today as well. I was meant to just do a quick hour. But obviously the Djed Spence thing came up.
As it does.
And that took up half the show, boy. But yeah.
As it does. What are you up to for the next week then? Because, again, no Spurs.
Yeah, no Spurs, man. You know what? I'm still undecided, isn't it? I'm not sure. We play not this Thursday, obviously. It's next Thursday.
Next Thursday, yeah.
Chelsea game. So probably like previewing that game. Preview's gonna be next week Tuesday.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be late next Tuesday, I think, because I think I'm penciled in to do
another show, yeah. So probably going to do the Chelsea thing. I think that's our next game, and then after the Chelsea, we've got the game on Thursday, then Sunday. Are we Thursday, Sunday?
But next week. So the fixtures are as bloody hell, it's been so long. So we got Chelsea, Southampton, and then Frankfurt, Wolves, and then Frankfurt again.
So we've got like 5 games, pretty much.
Yeah, back to Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, Thursday, Sunday.
Oh, then we're gonna love that then.
We could start talking about football again.
Jeez, Thursday, Sunday. I had an excuse already, boy. Yeah, so that's coming up, man. Yeah, so we'll have a lot going on in between that, man. But yeah, man.
So Rivals back tomorrow. I think we're on shows all over the weekend. Well, I don't know. I might do the tier list with George and Elijah and whoever else wants to come on and do that. That'd be cool. I just want it to be a laugh though.
Yeah, it will be, man.
I want it to be
I can make it, but yeah, it'll be funny. It'll be funny.
It'll be just funny just to see, and because it'd just be funny to do because I think it'll be everyone, and I get the audience to come in with what they say as well. If we joke.
Yeah, man, you lot tune into Do-Rag Diaries, man.
Yeah,
yeah, it should be a good one. They're going to be rating all the channels, giving their opinions.
Yeah, and we have the second half of the video. If you haven't seen already, the Ange video, what fans are feeling. I've got the other lot to finally make theirs. But if Ben watches this back from We Are Tottenham TV, still waiting, brother. Still waiting.
Yeah, man. Big up all the kings. Big up Destiny, man. Smash all the likes as always. Hey, big up Harry though. Young Harry, man. Harry Scarfy Harry. Gonna do something for him. So big him up, shout him out. Check out his channel as well. But yeah, big up AB that was on earlier, man. Obviously his internet was just moving mad. But yeah, man. Big up.
As always, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, hold on, names with that the other bits yet.
Come on, you Spurs, man.
Come on, you Spurs.
Big up the chat.